Um, everyone, yeah. But first lap of the day is Mechanic as he sets off here, as he makes his way into turn one. You want to lift off the brakes before you want to downshift here. You may make your way through, and you've got to be so patient here because join on board with him, because there's so many different. And another thing to just note quickly about this turn one, so many different apexes which you can take through this lines, should I say, through this turn one. And there we see Mechanic just taking a bit of more of the narrow line as you stick on the corner, and then you want to open it back up to the outside rather than going on the inside with a narrow line while taking the further outside line onto the initial part of turn one. But as he makes his way through your Mechanic, you can take either line. You'll lose some exit speed or corner speed depending on what you decide to do, but either way, both can work, but some are potentially faster than others when you get down to the driving styles of other drivers, but they do what works for them here. But Mechanic here not on a bad lap at the moment. He makes his way into this throughout of sector 2. It's 51 in the middle sector now, grinding these final long-winded corners. You know, you've got to be a bit patient here in these slow speed, but then you want to get back on the pace just for a long straight all the way to the end of this one, which is probably where we're going to see the most overtaking in the race, if we're being honest. I wouldn't see why not, but yeah, we'll see probably the most overtaken in the race in this corner, and he goes for a very narrow tight line there, should I say. There's Mechanic here, but he carries on going around, and it's probably worked out well for him because he's actually gained quite a bit of time to get that slipstream towards the end. It's a 1:39 to beat for pole position at the moment. Following on, we've got the Haas here of Captain Blackburn. He's about to do now that, while we join on board with Wads here, who's now about to finish his lap, goes to the line, goes pole position there by barely anything, and then Nick goes behind them by a few seconds here, so he's going to be wanting to up his pace, but 1300ths of a second there is the difference between the two drivers on their first runs at the moment. Shifty Flight, where can he go with this lap now as he's about to go across the line? DRS open, not going to get to toe from the Ferrari, is too far ahead. He goes 6th fastest there, Shifty Flight, ahead of Ghost onto the 3rd row now. What can anyone else do behind? It's going to be Mechanic onto pole position there by 0.3 of a second now as the McLaren overtakes the Williams. Can Shifty Flight potentially put himself there? No, he only crosses the line. 7th fastest. Behind him goes Nick, who stays 16th fastest here, unable to improve. Now though, we look to Spry, who's making his way on this lap. Can he find the final crucial bits of time in this final corner? He needs 0.3 of a second. He crosses the line. Spry goes 400ths behind with the fastest final sector. However, it's not pole position, and now we turn our attention to Mechanic, who may improve that pole position here as he crosses the line in the McLaren. He goes even faster now to extend that gap by another 400ths of a second to make that 8400ths total. Wads does improve, however stays 3rd fastest, so at the moment no one able to displace Mechanic there on pole position. Ghost goes 4th fastest there onto a 2nd row start for him. Shifty Wizard, dare I say, he may be attempting to go again here despite not having any fuel because he has drained the battery this lap. However, no, it's not when I'm looking at the time as greens. So unless Lurks has got anything, no he hasn't, he goes to 11th fastest only. That's qualifying, and it's Mechanic on pole position here around China for the sprint, and then we'll see what incurs for the race. So no rain this weekend, no by the looks of it here in China, but we are on the start-finish line, and we have got 5 red lights here, and it's going to be lights out and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix sprints here. Mechanic wants to get a good getaway, however Spry's not got a bad getaway, and he's side by side here as they go into turn 1. Can he make that move? He goes for the lead of the race, however Mechanic's going to hang it around the outside here, going through turn 1, both on the medium tyres. Round the outside goes Mechanic, down the inside goes Mechanic this time though, as now he's going to try hang it around the outside. Spry, and Mechanic's gone deep into the corner. We've got a VSC or something of the sorts because they've gone slow, and Mechanic does keep his lead off the line while Ghost managed to gain a position into 3rd place. Wads staying down in 4th here, and we have a virtual safety car on the first few corners of the race. Any damage there on any cars? We look to see no one dropping majorly at the moment from what I've seen, but we'll wait and test when we look into it. As we see the cars going through, there is our damage. Nick, front wing missing here on this lap. As we look, anyone else got damage? But at the moment, it's just Nick who I see with damage. So Nick missing a front wing and looking like the offender for drivers who's done something. JMO also losing 7 positions, so maybe he was involved. But it's green flags, and away we go once again here round Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's going to be Mechanic who leads with an outstanding lead there off the getaway. He got a brilliant getaway off the VSC, and so did the rest, because look at that gap as we look behind to the drivers behind. It's 1.3 seconds between Sheepers and Shifty Wizards. There goes Spry trying to dive down the inside here on the opening lap of the sprint. Can he make that move? He gets there before the corner and he takes the lead of the sprint in the Williams. He leads the Chinese sprint, and now Mechanic must follow and try and re-overtake here as they make their way through the final corner. After one lap of racing here in Shanghai, it's Spry who leads from Mechanic, and then follows on Ghost, from Watts, from Darfus, Shifty Wizard and Little Mo. Then Sheepers in 8th, and there goes Mechanic defending down the inside from Ghost, who was trying to look around the outside. Couldn't find that move though, and now Watts is trying to put the pressure on here. However, just follows in formation. Ollie sits P9, Shifty Flight in P10, Lurks P11, and Captain Blackburn rounds out the points in P12 here on the opening, after the opening lap of sprint here in China tonight. Now as we make our way through into this middle sector we go, and we've got someone in the pits. It's Nick, of course, to get a new front wing here. He's onto the new soft compound of the tyres, expected after that early incident there for him. However, that's going to ruin his sprint. He's probably going to be P19 come the start of the race. But no DRS for 2 laps here, and that was all pure pace therefore from Spry to gain that 6 steps back and re-overtake within a matter of corners. However, Mechanic is sticking right with him here in this middle sector, and he looks like he has the cornering speed in them high speed corners. However, does he have it through these low speeds and onto the straights, where Spry looks to have gained a bit more each lap, which we've done it, even though we've only been around 1 lap, of course. But yeah. So, however, we've also got to remember the toe here. It's so powerful, even without DRS, and we're seeing that as he's gaining even further in the straight here is Mechanic. Can he make that move down the inside? He's going to have a look down the inside, or is he just going to hang off? He's hanging off. My voice is gone. But he's hanging off here as Mechanic, as there we see a lock-up behind from Shifty Wizard, who's now under pressure from Darfus, who tried to take advantage of that. However, he just has to hang off at the moment. Now though, as we start another lap, DRS is activated this time around, and we look to the tyre situation as Wads goes and sets the fastest lap time of all, drops a lap off the start, while Little Mo on the soft compound tyre sets an even faster lap time. Of course, these are how the tyre situations look, so most of them going for the mediums, bar Little Mo, Needle, J-Mo, all starting on the softs. Nick did start on the mediums, however had to box the softs after an early incident. Daniel T though, and Daniel T spun round by the Ferrari, and then he gets hit again as he's spun all the way round into P16. Here's Daniel T. What's happened there? He looks like he made contact there with the Ferrari of Goggy, who tried to fight it down the inside, and Daniel T hanged it around the outside just before hitting his front wing and being sent spinning. Now he's 3.7 seconds off the back of Oscar, who's gained 5 positions off the start. Now he's trying to dive down the inside here of the Red Bull of Needle. Can he find that move? Can he get it round the outside in the high speed? Needle cuts it off well. As we look out in front, we've got drivers dropping. Sheepers is one of them drivers. He's off the track here, and now he comes back on the track to be overtaken by Captain Blackburn. Does he have wing damage to the Sheepers? It's all going on here at the moment here in the sprint round China. As we look back to Oscar, who's trying to make this move stick, however he's unable to. What about Mechanic though? Now he's going to get this DRS. This sprint is everywhere. As we see now, Shifty Wizard are getting a move pretty simply done in the Red Bull. Almost Max Verstappen S from the sprint there as he gets that move done down the inside with no trouble whatsoever. Now though, we turn back to the drivers out in front with Spry, who's chasing down Mechanic for this lead on the penultimate lap of the sprint here. However, would it be the smart move just to wait it out for another lap and then try and get him on the last lap? And even if you don't get him, you still get that second place for the sprint, for the actual race, and it's a second place in the sprint finish. While Ghost though, however, he's not going to be holding back at all. He needs to get this move done. However, I do think, can he get this move done? He's 6 cents back on the straight. Of course, we know how powerful the slipstream and the toe is here. And the DRS is here on this back straight. However, just has to back out while Spry is going for it, and Spry's done it. Spry's gone into leading the race. However, Mechanic's going to fight it back down the inside here as they go wheel to wheel coming out the third to last corner. It's Mechanic who has to succeed position. Spry leads the Grand Prix, or the sprint should I say, and now it's DRS open. There goes Shifty Flight down the inside there into the hairpin, getting ahead of Wads, who has to succeed. However, Wads is going for the switchback here. He's gone wide Shifty, and now Wads is going to fight it around the outside here into the final corner. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. He's up into P7 once again, and there we see Shifty Flight going wide once again. He's got to be careful not to get a time penalty here on the last lap of this race, because he's mighty close to it. Daniel T now going back down the inside, looking to get that move done on Needle, who's going to fight it back back down the outside, however, just has to back out. Edwin gets a 3-second time penalty, and looks he's going wheel to wheel here in the first corner. This is brilliant between these two as they make their way round. Round the outside goes Sheepers. Can he get this move now? Run down the inside. Needle gets a 3-second time penalty, however, just has to back out there, the Sheepers, as they go onto the straight once again because he's under pressure from the Hatter Blackburn, who isn't going to be close enough to make any moves. This is brilliant racing all up and down the field at the moment here in the Chinese sprint, and it's going to be even better in the race, I hope. Just a special mention to Needle as well. He was a lot down in qualifying. He's been brilliant in the race though for race pace at the moment. Of course, dropped off a bit there, having that fight where his tyres are going to have hurt, but he is doing brilliantly. But Spry has lost that lead again. Didn't even notice. But Spry, this is going to be his last chance in the race, and Mechanic's gone deep out of the final corner, out of the hairpin, and now he's in the pressure on the straight. And can Spry do it on the last lap here? He's going to have to fight it around the inside as Mechanic looks to dive down the inside to defend it. Can he get the switchback done, Spry? He's going to go for the switchback, and he's gone wide, or should I say his rear is all over the place. And now they go into the final corner. Mechanic leads the sprint still. DRS hoping, is there anything on the line? No, there's not, because it's Mechanic who wins the sprint here in China from Spry and Apples as they finish 1 and 2 like they did in qualifying. Ghost takes P3 from Shifty Wizard, who settles for 4th. Barely anything between them two either. It's Darfish in P5. Little Mo will cross the line to take P6. Wads in this battle for 7th. He struggled after the 3rd in qualifying. However, he takes a respectable 7th in the sprint, while Shifty Flight rounds off the points positions in the sprint race here. Lurks will take P9, which will be a starting place in the points still for the race. However, it may not be for the sprint. While Sheepers takes P10 here in the sprint. Captain Blackburn makes it 11th, 12th for Haas, with Oscar sitting there in 12th after 19th. He started on the grid with a qualifying ban. He's done not a bad sprint at all though, Oscar, and that's put himself in a good position for the race, potentially fight for the top 5 if he's got the pace. Agogi sits P13, J-Mo will take 14th, it's Daniel T who sits 15th, Needle 16th, Edwin 17th, Ollie crosses the line to finish 18th, and then that front wing damage on the opening lap for Nick ultimately ruining his sprint as he takes P19. What a sprint race that was. It's going to be interesting because we could see some 2-stoppers, I feel. However, of course, it's going to be the medium hard, which is going to be the obvious strat. But we're going to have 4, make that 5 red lights, because it's going to be lights out and away we go for the sprint here. And we have the same start again here with Spry trying to get off the line well, and it is the same start for these two. As Spry's going to go down the inside once again here like he did in the sprint. He tries to do it in the race, however Mechanic can hold it much more this time, but he's gone deep into the first corner, and Spry's going to fire around the outside, down the inside, he dives though. Mechanic who keeps the lead of the race this time on. There goes Shifty Wizard around the outside, and goes to drop positions off the start here. He's down to P6, and then dropping all the way is Wads to P17. What's happened there for him? Has he got wing damage, or did he just get caught up in all the actions after a P7 start? As he dives down the inside, now he looks to get back up into P6, and then he makes a double move there. Up into P15 he goes. However, he dropped tremendously off the start of the race from P7 all the way down to P15, or 17 at a time. As Spry couldn't get that move done, he got the better start, he looked to have had it, however Mechanic's brave braking sent him even further into the lead, and he managed to keep that lead, of course, with that, thanks for the tier 1 subscription, Ollie. Very thank you much indeed for that, as you keep your 3-month streak there. There goes Wads again though, he's now making a comeback race out of this after that poor start, as Daniel T gets up into P17 here. Wads trying to make any move possible. He's on the soft compound tyre, so that's not going to have helped him either, dropping his, because now he's got to tear them softs apart to even get back up to P7 where he started. Edwin looking to make moves on the straight, as there goes Ghost now trying to make a move. He gets ahead of Darfish, back up into P4, wanted to be P3 where he started. He gets a little lock up there coming out the corner, in fact. However, he did drop positions, and now he's back up into P4 now, and he's fighting potentially for them podiums once again. And after 1 lap of racing here, it's Mechanic who leads. From Spry there, from Shifty Wizard, from Ghost, from Darfish, Little Mo, Shifty Flight, Sheepers, Agogi, Lurks, J-Mo, Wads, Ollie, and Nick, and then comes Needle, Daniel T, Edwin. Oscar's into the pits once again here. Now it's Captain Blackburn all the way back there in P18, a lowly P18, and it's going to be a lowly P19 now for the hat of Oscar. The 2 hatties at the back of the field, not enjoying a good start to this to the actual race itself here now. As he looks to get ahead of 1 Mercedes more than he's already done this race, as he splits the 2 of them at the moment. And then Daniel T's actually also putting the pressure on the other Mercedes. Both drivers are pitting on the same lap here. So Spry and Mechanic into the pit here on lap 13 at the same time of this race, which is interesting to see. None of them going for an overcut undercut. Shifty Wizard though is going for the overcut there on that medium compound of time. We've got yellow flags in for RSC Oscar. He's had a terrible race at the moment, and he's having an even worse race now because he's spun round. He's down in P19. It's where he started the sprint after his qualifying ban, and now he's back down there in the race after a brilliant sprint race, as Nick gets up some positions along with Daniel T as they look to pull the overcut strategies, as they're 4 tenths behind. No, that's Mechanic who's 4 tenths behind. It's about a second though from Nick to Mechanic there here on this lap. But I imagine them two, Spry and Mechanic, will be pulling out a gap here come the end of this lap, because they are flying at the moment. They're on new tyres of hard piece. And Shifty Wizard, though, this is important for him, because if he's got any chance of salvaging a race win here, he's got to get this lap absolutely perfect before he goes into pits to chuck on a new set of hard tyres, and that's going to hopefully gain him some time. But maybe with the fighting of Mechanic and Spry, that could just work out for him at the moment. The gap between the leader of Shifty Wizard and Spry is 17.5 seconds. It's going down corner by corner, with a few tenths being gained in each corner by Spry and Apples, and I imagine that's going to be the same case come the end of this lap here. As now they make their way into the corner, Spry just has to keep on letting his car drift here as he gets them hard tyres warmed up. He doesn't want to use them too much in these opening laps, as he just got them on, and he doesn't want to degrade them to the point where they're finished by the end of this race. As they go into the straight, and this may be the opportunity, in fact, for Mechanic here. He's been trying to fight this move all race, and now he sees the opportune moment. He's using the DRS for once. He's got the DRS open. It should be a simple move. Mechanic into 4th place and into what will be the leader of the race when everyone pits. He's waited his moments, and 10 laps after he was overtaken, he re-overtakes Spry and Apples to get into 4th place. And with Shifty Wizard pitting and Darfouche pitting, this will be set for 2nd place, because it doesn't look like Shifty Wizard is going to get that overcut done, nor will Shifty Flight when he goes into pits himself here. He's extending instant. Shifty Wizard sits down in P4. Mechanic's going to fight it back around the outside there as they both go off the track. The McLaren and the Williams both going off the track there, going into turn 1. We have yellow flags. Rod sets the fastest lap of the race. However, it's just for RX the Oscar, who's off once again here. Made that 3 times. It's 3rd time unlucky, and it's getting worse and worse lap on lap here for the Haas driver, who just can't find anything for himself at the moment. No luck coming about. However, there's a bit of luck here for Little Mo, because as he goes around the outside, he's up into the top 5 now. As there goes down the inside, Daniel T looks for the switchback. However, he's not going to get that switchback this time round. Mechanic sits in P2 now, and the gap between him and Spry has opened up to 1.8 seconds. They were within each other on the lap before, and well, that little collision between the two, which sent them both wide, has ultimately benefited one driver by about 2 seconds compared to the other. But we're going to be watching this interesting situation. But however, it's not going to cost him here for the flying man who put out in front, because it's the Mechanic who has been robotic in this race. It's been lap after lap of consistency from the McLaren man as he makes his way into the hairpin. No little lock up there, it's consistent throughout. It's been robotic almost. It's the Mechanic who's on top here as he makes his way out the final corner onto the red and white stripe curve. He sees the checker flag and he sees victory here in China as he wins the Chinese Grand Prix, coming out in P1 from pole position in this qualifying. He wins the sprint, he wins the race, he makes it a hat-trick of 1st place in this weekend around China. And Spry will take P2 only there, while Little Mo settles for P3, and he does get Shifty Wizard right at the end and takes a podium position ahead of the reigning world champion. Shifty Wizard has to settle for P4. Blackburn takes the fastest lap of the race right at the end. Darfouche rounds off the top 5, and Shifty Flight does get that move done finally, as Ghost has to now settle for 7th for what could have been a race win. Only a measly 7th place. Jamo will take P8 here now, while Daniel T will take P9, and then Nerd Nick will round off P10, while Ollie about almost under pressure from Wads. However, he will probably end up being P11 here as Wads is getting all over the place coming out of the penultimate corner. However, it won't cost him too much because Ollie goes to cross the line in P11 and Wads rounds off the points positions here in P12 as he splits the two AlphaTauris, one of them in the points, one of them just missing out. Edwin will eventually take P14 here when he crosses the line at some point. Of course, going on to these two, Needle and Captain Blackburn both finished their races. They were both lapped. Fastest lap though, however, does go to Captain Blackburn. Agoggy, though, we just wait as he gets a move done on Needle. However, I just think it's Needle. Needle has no fuel, never mind. So Needle's out of fuel. So we did get one driver out of fuel, yeah. But Agoggy takes P14, no points for him. Same with Needle when he does limp his way over the line though with no fuel mode. That's the Chinese Grand Prix, and what a race it was here in Division 1 of Drive to Survive. From the epics and highs of qualifying for Mechanic, he struggled in the sprint race before snatching it right at the end from Spry and Apples, and then to go on and win the race comfortably in the end after after tricky first stint, should I say, between Mechanic and Spry and Apples. However, it was a comfortable second stint where he flied past everyone, course, got that little bit of contact with Spry, but ultimately it was just a bit of a racing incident, and he does win. So congratulations to him. For Mechanic, is that 2 wins in a row there for him. In Singapore, Mechanic also won. So Mechanic makes it 2 on the bounce, and with Wads, shall I say, having that well, just an outright poor race. Where is this looking for the standings if there is any changes potentially? Mechanic is on 29. He'll gain a bit, not too much though. So it'll be Spry though who's gaining, probably to set that gap to about just over 20 there in the championship standings. And Little Mo, it is like the Stamping 70. It may not be for the win, however, it's for a brilliant P3 there. However, it's the 2 Aussies, 1 and 2 of Mechanic and Naples there, who had a brilliant race apiece. While it's Little Mo, of course, you do take P3 right at the end here. Shifty Wizard has to take P4 though, while Spry, Doffage takes P5, Ghost will take P6 and Shifty Flight in P7, Jamo will P8. What's his worst race of the season? He's P9 though, and within the points. WT will take a P10, and Nick and Ollie will round off the points. Sheep is in P13, should I say? While Agoggy P14, Edwin P15, Needle P16, and Blackburn rounds off the running order with P17 and a fastest lap, while Lux and Oscar out of this race.